Disclaimer. This game is a work of fiction. Any persons, people, events that resemble true events are purely coincidence. And with that, hi, I'm Keegan, and this is A Bunch of Gamers. This is our 214th episode of Werewolf the Apocalypse, 20th Anniversary Edition, The Hallway of Mirrors. I'm going to go around and have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Aruna in the Geta Fenris.
Hi, I'm Adam. I play Mark Guides the Fallen, and he's a third of the Children of Gaia.
Hello, my name is Riley, and I am playing Dimitri Howls-In-Memory, Lupus Galliard of the Bone Gnawers.
Hi, my name is George. I am playing William Grows-Matrices. He is a rune of the Glasswalkers.
Last time, the Pax went to Tranquil Swamp to speak to the Black Furies about their transformations after a vision was given to them by Sven. The Pax had talked about what this vision was, why the Furies are changing, and had noticed a small star within their shadows in the Umbra. After very lengthy discussions about the nature of change and the nature of the Furies and their relationship to the wild, the Pax had decided to speak with Cassandra Stone-Eyes, formerly Andy Paints-with-Twilight, about this transformation and to potentially investigate. After several days of traveling across the nation, as well as discovering the potential location of Sven, the Pax find themselves at Sacred Stone once again. Sacred Stone doesn't look any worse for wear, at least compared to other places. There are still riots throughout Colorado Springs, just like there are everywhere now, as the government is nearly dissolved, though with the new vice president becoming the president and pushing for elections, especially with his new energy policy, there's at least some hope for stability in the United States, though whether policy shifts in any meaningful way is yet to be determined. What would you all like to do?
I mean, we could keep an eye on the politics and the policy and stuff, and if it looks like it's going the same way as the previous president, we could stop it again and just be like, okay, nope, try again.
Yeah, we'll just manage the presidency from here on out, I guess, yeah. Some dark cabal.
I don't know. It's just, well, you guys wanted to talk with the woman who Andy became, Cassandra.
Yes, Cassandra Stone-Eyes. Kyle, was there a way you wanted to approach this, or should we just be upfront about it?
I was hoping up front would be enough. I suppose we'll see how she reacts. Hopefully well.
Yeah, I guess we'll start with trying to find Cassandra.
Listening around, it turns out that Cassandra and her pack are down in downtown Colorado Springs, handing out supplies at a women's shelter, at least doing their best to, given the nature of the rage. But Bloodwind is keeping his distance while Cassandra is using gifts to suppress her rage. It takes a few hours to get there from Sacred Stone on foot.
I mean, honestly, let's wait until she's done for the day so that we don't disrupt.
All right. You guys wait as they return to Sept grounds around 9 p.m. She looks relatively tired, as does Bloodwind. It seems that he had been pushing back any kind of incursions of violence within city limits. It seems Steven has been influencing him on hit-and-run tactics.
I'd love to see it.
Sandra,
I love
we
to see
bother you? Go ahead.
I was just gonna make a funny that I love to see that Bloodwind is taking pointers from Steven.
That is some good character growth. Sandra, would you mind if we asked you a few questions about the Black Furies?
I suppose, as Bloodwind kind of side-eyes you and goes, why, what's interested you about the tribe?
We were recently at Tranquil Swamp, and we were discussing with the Black Furies there, what they were planning, I suppose, about the changes, and we heard some of their, not the Black Furies, but their specific philosophies on what they might try to do and so we thought it would be best to speak with someone outside of that particular sept so that we could learn a little more, if that's all right.
I don't have any issues with it. Bloodwind kind of just gives a grunt. Ask away.
Cassandra, we were wondering if your ancestors had been consulted about what's happening within the tribe and the transitions in persons in the same body, and if this might even be occurring to the ancestors themselves.
The ancestors are always the ancestors. None of them have changed, and they all recognize us for who we are. They know that the face we wear has always been the face we wear.
Interesting.
And have you heard of the idea, I suppose, for combining the two personalities and people?
I had a dream like that, where I ripped something out of my own chest and crushed it under heel, and with that, I wore two faces, and the two faces worked in tandem together. Is that what they believe down in Tranquil Swamp? I had wondered. I had suspicions, but I wondered if it was something to do with creating something new out of taking away something old within us, as the Wild asks, but...
Yes, there was talk about destroying this block within them, and potentially attempting to restore the balance worm to do so.
That would be something interesting, and something new, even. Being able to rend the balance worm back, or a new version of it. The Wild constantly creates. Could it not create a new worm, one of balance, under the right circumstances, that's once again outside of the Weaver's threads? Or perhaps even the Wild could make it so that we are vessels that could change the Weaver's threads into medicine that cure the corruptor worm into a balance worm, thus creating some sort of chaos out of order and bringing about balance. That could also be something worth exploring.
As I understand from what we were told in Tranquil Swamp, they believed over there that there was a barrier on the inside that was a barrier made by the Weaver, preventing them from a barrier within them, preventing them from existing across time.
And that would make sense. The Weaver wrote into the existence of especially the physical world, not in all of the Solarium, that time linearly moves forward. To create something that breaks something so fundamental would create a power vacuum for the Wild to rush in and potentially create 1,000, if not 1 billion new things that would have to be ordered and cataloged by the Weaver into existence within the existing superstructure of reality.
I think Dimitri's gonna take a moment to look a little lost and then nod as he says, yes, that's what they were telling us about.
It is how our tribe exists. We are the closest to the Wild, and we try our best to make sure that the Wild is perfectly represented in our tribe, including our leadership.
It almost sounds like you're trying to, or you guys would be trying to stall the Weaver in whatever it was doing by giving it another task to do in the meantime.
In a way, something can't exist without structure and form, and that is what the Weaver does, ideally. And she still does that, but she over-sorts, over-calcifies things into specific, into very specific narrow niches. What we are trying to do is create things that are new with new possibilities, because the current state of the world is that the balance worm is gone, it has been replaced with corruption, and the Weaver has become overly powerful in its cataloging of everything. Look at the forest. The forests are becoming places of the Weaver because they require technology and her constant state of order and correction to exist as the planet continues to heat up. and change.
My particular
So-
worry. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so, an idea that I had, you're talking about creating something new, right? So, would it be considered creating something new if instead of combining, like, how your form used to be Andy, and now your form is Cassandra, instead of combining them so that you can inhabit the one body, would it be considered something new if you were to split that and you would now have two bodies? So you would have a new form and Andy would have their form, or vice versa, Andy would have a new form and you would have this one?
That would be new-ish, creating something new. However, it is not as new as you would think. All the Furies are women, and new life derives from women. Thus, even if we are splitting an existing personality off, it follows certain themes within the fabric of existence. What doesn't exist currently, and this is my understanding of what you've told me of what the elders think down in Tranquil Swamp, is there has been, at least in no time that we are aware of, two complete entities who apparently have their own past and their own certainty of their existence in this current timeline, existing at the same time, within the same place, within the same timeline, in the exact same spot where their particles, spirit, personalities, and bodies overlap in a way that you have essentially two people existing at the same time in the same place, down to the millimeter, to where their organs both touch and do not touch because they are both the same and different in the same place.
Okay.
Concerns I raised, the one who spoke of this, was that although it seems, well, obviously outside of my expertise as a Philodox, but it seems all very possible, but if the balance worm were to be restored, that it would not actually be outside of the Weaver's threads, because the worm is still bound, and it would potentially, immediately, be corrupted. And by breaking this block, the Furies would then be corrupted. Not necessarily dancing the spiral or anything, still likely something new.
That is a possibility, and I don't necessarily disagree with your trepidation, as we are getting visions trying to lead us to a specific point, which does not necessarily fall within the purview of the wild, which is something that is based on feelings, instincts, and flights of fancy, not necessarily grand purposes. And while we are the tribe closest to the wild, we still serve Gaia above all of the triad. And now we must contend with whether these visions come from her or something outside of her to create some sort of wild plague that reaches out beyond just the Furies. That's also a very real possibility. I've been thinking about it because I keep trying to see what it is that I've ripped out of my own chest. Because what am I attempting to confront within myself that allows me to break certain threads of universal law? And that's a key piece. Because if I'm ripping out pieces of my own linear thought, or my ability to think in sequential order, then this being may not be very useful for the apocalypse. Though it would be new, and perhaps its very existence radiates something out that is useful, though I lose essentially myself to raw chaos. That is a possibility as well.
Cassandra, has anybody asked you, or any other Black Furies, if they're able to communicate with the former person?
No, and that is because you have to understand, I don't believe that this Andy was a former person. I believe that I am my own person, that I have been here the whole time, and that it is you all who maybe have met someone who you thought was me, or the veil of being able to see me or not be able to see me or the rest of us was lifted from your eyes.
Do you know if there have been any elders that have passed and been contacted as ancestor spirits, if any of those who were known to outsiders before have been able to be contacted?
I don't know, and that's because most ancestor spirits do not herald the call of tribes except their own. Internally, the tribe seems to recognize all of its ancestor spirits perfectly fine.
So I mean to say instead, not that if some child of Gaia has contacted one, I mean since if this was some veil being lifted, since that was lifted, do any of the outsiders like us who claim to know Paints-with-Twilight or some other Fury, after someone has passed, has anyone tried to contact either the Fury who was now or the Fury who was?
They've contacted the Fury that is, and others have contacted or tried to contact the ones that were, and at least then, if they call to them, the new spirit does appear, and they seem to get what they wish.
Thank you. A quick question for you, Bloodwind. Have you seen the light within Cassandra's shadow in the Umbra?
He kind of looks away briefly, kind of takes a deep breath and goes, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." Perception Empathy, Diff 6.
Give me a second. I don't remember where empathy is. There it is.
That doesn't bode
Oh, I've
well.
only got 5. I've only got 5. I don't use empathy often.
She put her in.
Maybe you should be a
Remember
better
what it
person,
is.
Sam.
Maybe I should be.
You want to go for it, Tim?
Yeah, I can go for it.
It's very clear that Bloodwind does know something, but it seems that based on everything that has been happening, everything that has happened, etc., he is overly protective of Cassandra, or perhaps even Andy, depending on how he views the being that stands before you.
Dimitri will pause for a moment then and say, Cassandra, we do appreciate your patience with answering our questions. When we were at Tranquil Swamp, we noticed a light coming from the shadows of the Black Furies in the Umbra side. With your permission, I would like to see if that light is there in your shadow, and I have a gift that would allow me to enter your dreams. My only intention is to better understand what your tribe is going through, so that there aren't any misunderstandings about what's been going on, what your tribe has been going through.
I give my permission, Cassandra says, to look at my shadow. I don't know about my dreams yet. Perhaps we could discuss that later, especially after I get some sleep myself, and not have to worry about a naive Garu entering my dreams and trying to help me when all I wish to do is rest after a long day's work at the women's shelter.
Of course, I'm sorry for being bold.
Do we all need to enter the Umbra, or just you?
Just one of us.
Who wants to go into the Umbra to look?
Well, I've got
guess it
5
depends.
noses. Or we're gonna wait until Sig comes back.
Well, we're at the cairn though, so you can just walk through the.
The heart of the Karen.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess Dimitri will go through.
Okay. We've got to step through the heart of the Karen, locate Andy. It's hard because it's dark, which does mean the shadow is very difficult to see. So you need to ask Andy to go to a place with a light source so that her shadow can actually, and that the light source exists within the Umbra so that you can find the shadow. Because it is 9 p.m.
I feel like I probably would have thought of Dimitri would have thought of that for sure.
Maybe, because remember,
yeah, maybe
it was mentioned that. So it was mentioned if they got crossed another shadow, it disappeared. You may not have known that it wouldn't disappear in the night when a shadow isn't necessarily forming. That's the
okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's another piece of information for you.
In that case, Dimitri will come back then really quick and ask for Andy to stand near a light that will also exist in the Umbra.
Cassandra.
Sorry, Cassandra.
You said Andy 3 times, Keegan.
I sure did. Shh. Anyway, you'll ask Cassandra to stand by some light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You
And
do
then
that.
Dimitri will go back to the Umbra again.
You do that. You gotta walk a while if you're doing it through the heart of the Cairn because you had to go to the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should pick this up in the morning.
It's too late. She's at the gas station.
Oh, but she's tired.
It sure is.
I'll carry her. It's fine.
As you look and you do see the slight glimmer, Dimitri, it's small, but it is there, and it is a blink if you miss a thing. But given that you've learned how to spot it thanks to Zeb, you see it.
All right. Well, having seen it, Dimitri will cross back over again and explain what he saw. And he'll say, we noticed at Tranquil Swamp that when the shadow of a Black Fury is crossed with another shadow, that the light disappears. And it seems to have done so because night has fallen, but I was able to see it. I am sorry for keeping you up. Please have a good night's rest.
Thank you. She kind of laughs. I need to just drive off, grab my car, so we can maybe continue this discussion tomorrow.
Thank you.
And so, you guys wait out the night. Zeb has decided that he's gonna go off and talk to some spirits, is what he said. And so he goes off, does all that, and it is now March 3rd. As Andy comes back to the Sept, just to check, or I'm sorry, Cassandra comes back to the Sept to check on things. She notices you all and goes, all right, I suppose you can try and enter my dreams tonight. I will be doing a little less work in the city, though I still need to check on a few things and do some Sept's duties with the spirits here. Understood?
Understood. And I do appreciate your trust. Is there anything that I could help you with?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but I think we'd have to get you trained up on some of the things we've been doing with the spirits around here lately, and you are a Galliard, not a Theurge.
That is true.
So is there anything you guys
Can
want
we offer you a mark in this trying time?
I suppose I could use Mark.
How could I assist you?
Well, as she starts talking about some of the things that they're doing around to help with spiritual energy, so you gotta help clean up some things and then awaken some spirits with her, give them proper gnosis, etc., etc.
I'd gladly help out.
Alright, all that takes 1 willpower and 2 gnosis worth of effort.
Gladly given.
Alright. As Andy goes... Alright, as it's very, very late now. Andy goes, it takes me about 15 minutes to go home, about 30 minutes to fall asleep, so perhaps try and enter my dreams within the hour.
All right.
So an hour passes.
All right, so that's a wits and empathy at diff 8. 3 successes.
Wonderful. So you enter. As you see Sacred Stone, you see Cassandra walking, and she's meditating under the crescent moon. As you see the physical and umbral worlds seeming to fuse, the gauntlet lifting up where physical and spiritual are one once again, as they were in the dawn times. As you see Cassandra take her hand and start slowly pushing it into her chest, you hear ribs cracking, though no blood, no nothing happens as her hand presses through shirt, skin, flesh, and bone. And her hand reappears, no damage, no blood, no nothing, as she holds something within her hand. It's oozing almost. It appears to be almost like tar. Could I get a perception alertness to try and get a better look at it? Diff 8.
All right. Perception, alertness, and I would like to spend a willpower for a guaranteed success.
Do that. It'll be oops all ones.
That's why I'm spending the willpower, just in case. So 4 successes with that willpower spend.
So it appears to be almost like one of the jars you had seen from the Good Doctor, but inside it's not the tar of like the person that the Good Doctor pulled something out of. It's something else. It is tarry. It's odd. It gives you a sense of melancholy, Dimitri. You feel your heart weighed down, and when you think about your pack mates, for some reason, just looking at this tar, you feel your heart and your stomach sink and twist, and you feel almost like a cold sweat starting to form on you, as if there was something rattling within you. These emotions aren't your own, but because of the nature of the dream and the thing that is there, it's affecting you. Could you do an intelligence empathy diff 7?
5 successes.
This is a feeling of guilt, like a deep, raw guilt that seems to be collected in this jar before Cassandra drops it and her heel crushes it. And you see the tar thing within it squeal and die, and the jar that it's in shattered in a way that it doesn't seem to exist at all, completely broken from this existence, before you start seeing both Cassandra and Andy's face at the same time, not split down the middle, but literally as she moves, it is as if one face shimmers into the other, back and forth, up and down, both existing at the same time in the same place and being viewed in the same spot at the same time within the same body. At the same time, their heights don't match, and yet when you look at them, you see both of their heights there at the same time, and there is no conflict within your mind that is the height of both of them, perfectly there with their faces lining up and yet not. This strange amalgamation of a person before it turns and it looks at you, and there's a bit of surprise as a hand reaches out and touches your cheek, and the being bends down, and you hear the voice go, "Is he all right? Is he safe? I am hopeful that I did not do too damage to him nor you."
He's safe. You don't have to worry about anything.
Good. As you feel this heat radiating on your back,
Dimitri's going to turn around.
you see the earth has ripped open, and there is a great maw with fire burning, and you see the amalgamized being nod and go, "Then it is my time to make sure that it is finally over and Gaia is saved." And then for a brief glimmer, upon the threshold, you don't just see Andy and Cassandra, you see 10,000 faces all existing there at once, at the same time, and as they cross, some of the faces seem to disappear as if ejected as they move further and further down. And in the distance, you see great smoke and heralds, craters all over the earth, the cities shattered, and a great hordes of the worm battling the Garu before something happens and the hordes seem to be disjointed, and the Garu begin to battle greater and start pushing the forces of the worm back before you finally find yourself outside of the dream.
Dimitri is going to kind of take a few moments to kind of, I guess, soak all of that information in. Kind of trying to kind of make sure he understood everything right, because this feels like a vision of the apocalypse. And he's going to go find everyone. Oh, is it the middle of the night?
It is not. Though
Okay.
the dream felt short, the hours had passed and the night has ended.
All right, well, then Dimitri will maybe take a few minutes to kind of understand what he saw, and then go and find everybody. And we'll even wake up William too.
Alright, as you explain the dream,
And Dimitri will kind of maybe fast forward to the end of the dream as he's like explaining everything, and will describe the great maw that he saw kind of splitting the earth, the different craters, the ruined city, and then how these amalgamations, previously the Black Furies, seem to descend into this maw and sacrifice themselves in order to kind of disfigure the armies of the worm, and how the Garu were able to push harder to fight back.
I've got no clue on how to interpret that.
And Dimitri will add this barrier, this thing that I saw Cassandra or Andy, that I saw Cassandra pull out of herself. When I looked at it, I could feel my heart and stomach sink. And when she crushed it, I think it was guilt, some sort of guilt. I guess that is her barrier that is stopping her from undergoing this transformation.
Suppose it might be important to learn if it's the same for all of the Furies, if that's just Cassandra's, and further,
So
if
real
that's
quick,
Cassandra's
you do have
at
to
all.
remember that the other Fury talked about vomiting up something. And that they did say at the previous session that all the visions were slightly different between all the Furies. This isn't a FYI.
Sure, but specifically, like it lines up with like they walked into hell, and
Oh, yes.
that was the difference for the apocalypse. That's what I meant. Like,
Gotcha.
but if maybe it's not guilt for the other Furies, and maybe even it's not Cassandra's guilt, but Andy's.
That's what I'm thinking. Because in the dream, when the two of them converged or combined, I believe it was Andy speaking to me, and she seemed surprised to see me there. So I think, or I believe this shared this dream or vision that Cassandra is having. Wherever Andy is experiencing the same dream, and Andy didn't know that I was going into the dream.
That's interesting.
It definitely raises more questions than answers, at least to me.
I kind of have a question. It might sound silly. But out of character, what is the stance on parallel universes within the werewolf scope?
They don't believe in them.
Don't they exist?
There's broken off timelines, but they don't quite truly exist. They're bubbles of timelines that could have existed but never were, and basically you float there, and they don't actually affect the world you're from, and when this world ends, those ones go away.
Like that one in the Pocket universe with the Farah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. See, my idea was, well, maybe they're just swapping spots, but probably not. It's the case.
Mark, maybe you may have some more insight being a third, but an idea came to my mind that if the Black Furies are in the process of ascending above or surpassing time in a linear sense, do you think it's possible that Cassandra is a previous reincarnation of Andy? And when the change happened, they switched places somehow?
Well, as you and I both have witnessed, through the wild all things are possible. But it's definitely strange for it to be occurring in our realm of stability, and so frequently too. My only guess is, with our knowledge that we attained from Spirit of Pluto during our time in the stars, is that since this isn't the first go-around of this happening, as we've just learned, ancestors are not bothered by this whatsoever. And no matter what form our Garu can take, they still recognize. The face is still the face they recognize. So the only thing that I could possibly think of right now, considering our times and what we're fighting against and what we're fighting for, is perhaps the wild is bleeding into our reality. And because the Black Furies are more attuned to the wild, they're going to be the first to succumb to the wilds. So if anything, this possibly could be, I guess to use a human metaphor, a canary in the cage. Perhaps this is just a sign of more strange to come beyond Umbral and more wild.
I think you may be right.
Certainly as it is concerned, does Andy go away completely? Is it just Cassandra now? Is it Cassandra and Andy? Is it just Cassandra with Andy's memories?
Well, I guess I'm curious then, because if this guilt is Andy's guilt, and I think it may be her guilt from undergoing the change and having to leave Sven behind, how would Cassandra let someone else's guilt go? That
certainly is a conundrum. How does one feel guilty for somebody else's crimes, basically, or wrongdoing?
We don't know that this has anything to do with letting something go. All the Furies have spoken about breaking the barrier, the block. It could
Now,
simply
I have a
be
question
that they have
about
to
the
destroy parts of themselves.
During these dreams and during these visions, do we see the flicker of light after this symbol of dark, this blob of dark is destroyed?
Or I guess the question would be, did I see it?
Yes, and the vision, the little glimmer of light wasn't in there in the vision at all in the dream, because just like the other Furies, Cassandra can't see that glimmer in her own shadow.
The next best thing I can think of is to tell Cassandra what I saw in the dream and see if she has any opinions or thoughts on it.
Well, and ask if we're allowed to follow that light.
So, Cassandra is fascinated by what you say of her dream, and specifically what's in the jar, because she cannot remember what was in the jar at all. So, knowing that, she goes, I'm gonna have to start looking internally about what this guilt is. I don't think I really know of any guilty feelings that I could think of, but maybe if I think on it long enough and start looking there, I might have a better idea. Thank you very much, Dimitri.
Oh, Cassandra, if you don't mind, I have a theory, perhaps. If you don't mind me sharing it.
Not at all.
Well, while I was in the dream, after your face and the second face that you spoke of joined together, I believe it was, I suppose you could say it's the Black Fury that we thought was you before this veil was lifted. She spoke to me and asked about Sven, and I think this jar, the sense of guilt I felt when I saw it and saw it crushed, I think it may be connected to this other half somehow. At least that's my theory. That's the only possible sense of guilt
might connect
I could think
us.
of.
And this guilt might connect us. Okay. I'll start from that position.
Maybe not connect you, maybe keep you separate.
Yes. No, that's true. Interesting. Were there any other questions, Dimitri?
Well, sorry,
go
ahead.
One more, actually, not related to the dream, but about the shimmer of light that we see in your shadow. When we were in Tranquil Swamp, the spirits there mentioned it being a path of sorts. And since other Black Furies can't seem to see this shimmer, this light. We wanted to ask you if it would be okay if we tried to follow it, tried to see where it leads.
I will accept that, given that you brought me this information that may help me remove my own barrier. I have other things to do today anyway, so I was not going to meditate on that. Anyway, but if you could take care of it soon, I planned on leaving within the next hour or two to go take care of some duties around the city.
All right. We can try to take care of it within the hour, and if it starts to take longer than that, we'll let you know, and we can try again another time.
If we're successful, though, and we travel that path, I don't know how any of this works, but if there's not a light source, I'm not sure we'll be able to come back. If it disappears while in shadow, maybe we could ask you to stay somewhere a little bright when you have the opportunity, if it comes up.
Yes, I was going to stay in a well-lit source for at least a couple of hours before I did my duties. Alright, so you all go into the Emperor. You see the light source. Attempting to follow it does require a Gnosis roll. It's similar to stepping sideways, so it will be a Gnosis roll, diff 8. You can have individuals roll for a pack.
Oh, I'll roll for Maurice. Bane.
Okay. Alright, as you all entered, it takes William and Dimitri about 5 minutes. It takes Fomori's Bane instantaneously. As you're in a hallway of mirrors, thousands of them, and looking into them, you see different people staring back at you who seem to have similar builds to you all. They carry themselves of the same rank, but they are different breeds, auspices, nationalities, but of the same tribe. And then just past them, you see several women, Black Furies within the mirrors, next to those others who stand there. As you see a Bone Gnar, a Get of Fenris, 2 children of Gaia, and a Glasswalker of some variation. Though the difference between the Fury images and your images, of course, is sometimes their genders are completely different for any of the tribal members who are not Black Furies.
And Dimitri is going to be looking around at all these beers and kind of thinking out loud, like, what is this place?
How large is this Hall of Mirrors?
It goes on for a very long time. You don't see the end of it.
Mark looks up. What does he see?
You see mirrors looking back at you. Once again, the feet, or I guess the heads, looking up of other people looking down or looking up at you from their angle. And if you move, the images move to different mirrors, and those images change along the mirrors, each mirror having a completely different person in them. Could I get a perception alertness from everyone? Diff 9, given the overwhelming nature of this place.
Oof. Oh!
I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Pretty wise choice. Fuck.
So, Cora and Dimitri, you actually see one of the mirrors has Andy Paints-with-Twilight, just a little distance off. Kyle, you see your father as a child of Gaia looking back at you with tears in his eyes, weeping, and it costs you a point of willpower. Temporary.
Yeah, he's always fucking shit up for me.
Just Kyle flipping off the reflection of his father. Fuck you, Dad.
William, you see a cyberdog version of yourself, cybernetically enhanced, looking at you, giving a grin with teeth that are artificially sharpened and chromed out as it mouths, "Imagine what you could have been if you didn't murder your own." This also costs you a willpower.
I am both intrigued and fearful of what I could have been.
And Mark, you see one of your dead pack mates from before the time you joined Fomori's Bane, looking at you, and looks at you with shock as you see it mouth, "You're dead." And you also lose a point of willpower.
All right, I'm getting back to the feeling of different timelines. That's what this feels like different choices that we could have made.
But some of the genders are different, and they're not always the same
yeah.
person. Yeah.
This seems like a place of locked possibility. Things that could have happened that didn't, so they're sent here. Does that make sense to anybody else?
I'm gonna try to talk to the reflection of Andy.
As you keep moving forward to talk to Andy, the reflection moves with you, but it seems like you're catching up slowly but surely. But do you want everyone else to catch up with you?
Dimitri is gonna try to snap his fingers to get everyone else's attention, since he and Cora can see Andy in one of these mirrors, and he's gonna try to get everybody else's attention so that they could follow both of them.
I want to get close enough, but I don't want to touch the mirror.
Okay. As you get closer and closer, and as it's just about the space where you can talk to her, you and your companions feel something, and the Hall of Mirrors is gone. You stand in an open field. The grass is made of small green tentacles, the sky a blazing purple, the sun twisting like an endless, triangle, moving across the horizon as the mountains grow from the horizon and sink with the fading sun. And I need everyone, please, to roll Intelligence Primal Urge, difficulty your permanent rage.
I'm super relieved.
All right, Kyle, William, you start shifting between your different forms every turn. Cora, you shift between your forms every 5 turns. Mark and Dimitri, you're able to resist the energies of chaos of this realm and are able to keep whatever form you like, as the Hall of Mirrors brought you to the realm of flux.
We've been here before.
You sure have. How will they get out of it? I guess that's a question for next time. Thanks to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in that next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you then.